The next 4-bar section is back to our 1 chord for 4 bars, and we're starting on an A7 chord and we're rocking our whammy bar. You'll have seen it like this probably. It's just the top 4 strings of the B7 that you're familiar with. And it's a nice voicing. After that, we're on to our blues scale. We are chicken picking. Totally ripped off from Stevie Ray Vaughan. Into our blues pentatonic scale. And then another blatant Stevie Ray Vaughan rip-off here. So all together. I end that section bending from the 8th fret up to the 10th fret, and that's because I want to travel into my 4 chord, my D7, with the 1. That's a D. The next section we have D7, our 4 chord, for 2 bars, and then A7, our 1 chord for 2 bars. Now over this D7, I'm just shamelessly flying around the A minor pentatonic scale. Now why does that work? That works quite well because if we just go through it and we talk about how the notes in the A minor pentatonic scale relate to a D7 chord, well, that would be the 1, that's D. That there, that is the 2, that's going to fit fine. That's the 4, fits fine. 5, fits great. Flat 7, perfect. Back to the 1, and that's all we've got. So we can get away with just playing any of those notes, and it's going to sound like we know what we're doing. We can add in that major third if we feel like it. Give it more of a, that's more of a A-Dorian scale. But here, I didn't even do that. I just A minor pentatonic. For this part here, this wee slide up bit, that's still an A minor pentatonic, just moved into shape 2. And then I chromatically move up. See here, that would be the major pentatonic shape, A major. These 2 notes just happen to be the 3rd and the 5th of the D7. Now I could say that I intended on doing that, I didn't, it just happened to land nice. That's what the scales are for. And that takes us in this root and minor 3rd of the A, takes us into the A7 chord. But before I move on to those 2 bars, let me talk briefly about the picking for this pull-off section. Down, up, down, up, up, down. Then up, up, down. Then we just slide through. And you can check and pick that if you like. Anyway, into the A7, our 1 chord. We are up here now in shape 5, minor pentatonic. We're hitting the root, the minor 3rd, back to the root, hammering on from the minor 3rd up to the major 3rd, onto the root, back to the minor 3rd, a bend up on our, what would be our sus4 or 4, into the 5, and then we're just walking down what would be the minor scale into that's just another dominant 7th arpeggio round this A shape. So I'm starting on the 4th, coming into the 3rd, onto the flat 7, the 5th, flat 7th, 1st, 2nd, 1st, flat 7th, 5th, flat 7th, and then finishing on the 2nd. And that takes us into our next section, into the E7. So we made it into the last section. We've got our 5 chord, our 4 chord, our 1 chord, and then the turnaround onto the 5 chord. So we start this section just hitting a whole load of E's because we're on an E7 with a wee hidden kind of flat 3rd bend in here from the 14th to the 15th. With the rhythm, what I'm doing is I'm bending on the 1, the 2, and then just a wee triplet after the 3 to make the rhythm a bit more interesting, and then back to the on the beat for the 4. So 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, and I end with a bend up to that A for the D7. And A we know is D7's 5th. 1, 5. After that bend, I have something that looks like this. There I'm kind of enclosing that 3 and that flat 7 for the D. Surrounding it with what would be the A minor scale. And that takes me into the A7, the 1 chord. And I'm just minor pentatonic riffing through it. To take me into the E7, the 5 chord, I slide from here, the 12th fret, taking me into E's 3rd, the major 3rd, playing the 1st, the 3rd, and the flat 7th of the E7 chord, acknowledging that turnaround, and that takes me to the end of this lesson. Cool. Cheers for sticking with me, and I hope to catch you again.